Hello everyone, welcome to La Excellence IAS Kalam program, a GS Mains answer writing initiative. This is season 2, episode 50. As announced earlier, this will be the last episode in this season. We will be soon coming up with a season 3. Let us now look at today's question. The question says, several states made changes in the labor laws to deal with the problems caused by corona pandemic. What are the issues with such changes? This question is for 10 marks and we have to write the answer in 150 words. This question can be written either in General Studies paper 2 or General Studies paper 3. General Studies paper 3 in the economy section and in the subtopic of labor laws. And in General Studies paper 2 we can see this topic in the fundamental rights. If we look at the context why this question has been asked, recently several states have diluted the labor laws with an intention to incentivize the employers so that the economy which was worst hit by the COVID-19 pandemic and resultant lockdown can see revival. Some of these measures were increasing the permissible working hours from 8 to 9 hours to 12 hours per day. Also to 72 hours per week, these were increased. Apart from this, some of the laws were suspended for few months to years. Various states included Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, etc. There has been intense criticism about these changes that have been brought in the labor laws. Workers who have been worst hit by the pandemic will be further subjected to exploitation. Some of the trade unions in India also are planning to go to the International Labour Organization against these moves. So this is the context why this question has been asked. If we look at what are the value addition points which we can write in this answer, you can write about important articles from the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. For example, Article 23 prohibits forced labor in the country. So that can be written as a value addition. Otherwise, Article 43 of the Constitution, which comes under directive principles of state policy, it says that state should strive to secure a living wage. Also, it should strive for participation of workers in the management of industries. So these things can be used as value addition in your answer. Apart from these things, you can also write about labor as a subject being in the concurrent list of Schedule 7 of Indian Constitution, because of which the laws made by the centre will prevail over the state laws. So whatever the changes that are being made by states will be acceptable only if the centre gives assent to these laws. Okay, so this can also be written as a value addition point. Apart from this, you can write that centre has been making efforts to codify the various labor laws. We have almost 200 to 250 labor laws within the country into 4 main codes. These 250 labor laws are being tried to be made into 4 labor codes by centre. And it has been said that labor reforms in India have been long pending because complicated labor laws are one of the important reasons for poor performance of manufacturing sector in India. You can also write about International Labour Organization's take on this issue of changes in the labour laws made by several states. International Labour Organization said that such measures should always have tripartite consultation. What are the three parties that have to be consulted? One is government, one is workers' unions, and the third is employers' organizations. So all the 3 parties should be consulted before any changes in the labour laws are to be made, according to International Labour Organization. So use these points according to the context what you are writing. Coming to what is to be avoided in this answer, I think you can avoid writing about what are the various kinds of labour laws existing in the country. Our labour laws are broadly classified into those about the working conditions, those about the wages, about social security, etc. So you can avoid writing about this classification or detailing about what are the various kinds of labor laws. Yes, you can write about the measures or changes that have been brought in by these states, but don't write about already existing labor laws and all in detail in the core of the answer. Let us see how to write the answer in the introduction, body and conclusion format. I think the best way to introduce this answer would be by writing about the context. So what are the states which made such changes in the labor laws? Because the question has already given a statement. You can elaborate the statement or you can write the context. What are the states that have brought the changes and what are the changes that were brought in by these states? Coming to the body part, you can divide the body into two parts. Though the question is asking about issues with such changes, you can write about not only the issues with respect to the measures that have been taken by the states, you can also write about what should have been done ideally. You can write examples of other countries, what they have been doing so as to cope up with the economic distress. Coming to the conclusion, you can write that labor reforms are needed but not in this form of dilution of labor laws. You can write that government has a duty to protect the interest of all stakeholders and protection of workers' interests comes first of all because workers are the worst affected because of the pandemic. Let us now look at a sample answer. This person writes, labor laws in India for long have been criticized for being inflexible, complicated and multiple in number, causing obstruction to the growth of certain sectors of economy. Hence, economists have been for long calling for labor reforms to promote investments and industrial growth. So, this is the introduction he is trying to write, wherein he is telling about the difficulties with the labor laws. They are inflexible or rigid, because of which employers are finding it difficult to employ the workers. What is happening is, once if they hire the employee, they will not be able to fire them because of the rigid labor laws. So, there have been calls from the economists for a long time about labor reforms to come up. What does he write further? He is writing, COVID-19 pandemic and the following lockdown has hit the economy badly. In a bid to incentivize the industries, some states like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, etc. have diluted the existing labor laws, like increasing the permissible working hours to 12 hours per day and 72 hours per week, suspending some of the laws for the next few months. These measures have attracted severe criticism. So he is trying to write the context, you can say that he is explaining or expanding the statement that is given in the question. If you observe, he has used the entire first page for talking about what is the difficulty with the labor laws that has been existing and writing about the context, or I could say this entire thing is talking about introduction. Let us see what he writes further. Here he is writing about the issues with the changes in labor laws. In that he is first writing labor as a subject being in the concurrent list, central laws will prevail over state laws. Or you can also write state laws cannot supersede central laws. So even if states have got some changes made in the labor laws, if a central law is there on the same subject, the central law will prevail and state law cannot supersede that. Then he writes enabling environment for exploitation of workers. See, workers are protected because of the labor laws. So once these labor laws are taken off or suspended for few months, there will be more and more exploitation of the workers by employers who are already distressed. So entire economy is in distress. Workers are distressed, employers are also in distress. So in such a situation, employers will try to exploit more workers. The next point he is writing is that diluted laws will not promote increase in employment. I can give you an example here. If the working hours are increased from 8 to 9 hours to 12 hours per day, okay, what will happen is, with the same number of people, supposing I have 5 employees with me, with the same number of people, I will make them work for 12 hours a day. How will it increase the employment? I will not be willing to employ 2 more people if such a provision is given. Okay, so this is what is meant by this statement, that it will not promote an increase in employment. Okay, we will try to, or the employer will try to exploit the workers more in such situations. And then he is writing increasing informalization because of absence of social security. Because of various labor laws, employees in various organizations have some form of social security, like employees state insurance facility or employees provident fund, etc. So these are a form of social security which is available to most of the employees in both organized as well as unorganized sector. But what will happen is, because of the dilution of the labor laws, people will be more and more informalized by not providing them social security nets. Okay, then he is writing, previous experience in some states suggests that weakening labor laws doesn't attract investments. Previously, some states have tried to meddle with labor laws, but even after weakening of them, it doesn't attract investments. He is then writing what should have been done then. That is, way forward, you can say, what is he writing here? He is writing, government should have shared the wage burden with the industry. For example, some percentage of the wage burden could have been given by the government to the employers, so that employers will not be overburdened. He is then writing, ensured health of laborers. The government should always take care of the laborers and workers because they form the backbone of our economy. So we have to ensure their health by providing them with more and more social security nets. He then writes, supported industry in other ways. Other ways would mean increasing their access to credit, etc. Okay, so he should have government should have supported the industry in other ways. So here he is trying to write about way forward, what the government should have been done or what the government should be doing. What does he write further? He writes, Article 23 of Indian Constitution provides for prohibition of forced labor. We already discussed this point. Dilution of labor laws is not labor law reforms. So dilution of labor law does not mean that they are labor law reforms. Government should act more compassionately to support the workers or laborers who have been worst hit by the pandemic. So this is the conclusion that he is trying to give here. It is a simple conclusion where he has tried to use a value addition point talking about Article 23, and he is saying that reforms does not mean dilution of the laws and government should be acting more compassionately. If we analyze the entire answer, I think he has written quite a lengthy introduction. The introduction and the context part has occupied almost the entire first page, and then in the second page he has addressed the core of the answer, that is, what are the various issues with the changes in labor laws and what should have been done. What I feel is that though he has written mostly relevant points throughout the answer, his structuring of the answer is not proper, or rather he has given more space for introduction. He should have spaced them properly, given appropriate portions for introduction, conclusion, and main 80% of the answer or 70% of the answer should have been occupied by the body part. Other than this, the answer has been mostly relevant. Let us come to the end of our discussion. Before ending, I would like to give you all a suggestion that answer writing practice is the key to success in this exam. I wish you all the very best. Let us all meet again in the future. Thank you.